My husband had a tree in our front yard pruned back one time. I mean, I knew it needed to be done, but when I came home from work, I was so mad when I saw that tree because it just was down to almost nothing. Come on, do you feel like you've been cut down to almost nothing? And he said, just be patient. My husband has a lot of that. I don't have as much of it as he does. Just be patient, and you'll see. Next year, well, I didn't want a pretty tree next year. I wanted a pretty tree right now. Now, how many of you know that's our problem? We don't want anything next year or in 5 years. We want it right now. Well, God doesn't work that way. Sometimes He prunes us back. Like, for example, they say, say a peach tree, a good farmer or a peach orchard grower, if they're really good, the first year the tree bears a little tiny fruit, they go and pluck it off. The next year it's a little bit bigger, they pluck that off too. And if they'll be patient and not let it actually bear fruit the first few years, then it will come around and bear fruit like no other tree. Come on, now some of you you're where I'm at. You're with me. You know, when God called me to teach, I thought for sure I'd roll out of bed the next morning and go to the world. I felt like God said, you're going to go all over the world and teach my word. Well, I didn't know that meant like years from now. See, a lot of us, God has called us to do something, but we don't want to settle down and let Him prepare us. Come on, I'm talking to somebody. We don't want to settle down and let Him prepare us for the thing He's called us to do. You know, it's interesting. David was anointed to be king 20 years before he wore the crown. Hello? 20 years before he wore the crown. When God puts something in your heart, you see the end of it. You see it like, wow. But it's going to start out like a little tiny fuzzy peach popping out on a tree, and God's going to come along and pull that baby off and say, not yet. Well, sure enough, next year we had a gorgeous tree in the front yard.